Hosted by you/thrownaway_rebound. So, this will be a weird one. I made a throwaway account for this because I think it's a pretty unique situation that the person in question could easily figure out is about them. And I don't want them knowing my main account, if they even use Reddit. I, 35M, am happily married with 2 children. My wife, 32F, and I have been together for 8 years, married for 4. We were out shopping in our hometown when we ran into my ex-friend, 34F, her parents, and her children. She moved out of state over 10 years ago, and I haven't seen her since, nor have we had any contact other than Facebook happy birthday messages. She is married with 2 kids of her own. Anyway, on to the situation. My father-in-law and her father are friendly with each other. Both are retired military and occasionally have breakfast together with their other retired friends. When we ran into each other, my ex-friend's dad congratulated my wife and me. We figured my father-in-law told him we're expecting our 3rd child. I saw my ex-friend look at my wife's belly, and then she acted distant for the rest of the exchange, whereas she had been friendly at the start. We traded pleasantries and said goodbye. My wife and I continued our shopping. By the time we were done, I checked my phone and saw I had a Facebook message from my ex-friend. Ex-friend, it was good to see you again. Me, you too. The family looks good. Ex-friend, yours too. Would you want to grab coffee and catch up? I'm in town for a couple more days. Me, we're actually pretty busy, otherwise, I would be down. I'm sorry. Ex-friend, I understand. Adulting. Can I ask you a question? Me, sure, what's up? Ex-friend, was I just not your type? Me, what do you mean? Ex-friend, I'm asking, what did I do wrong? Me, didn't respond, as this was out of nowhere. Ex-friend, I pursued you for years. We were inseparable for years, and you never gave us a real chance. I loved you. Our families loved us. Our friends loved us together. You just never committed all the way to us. You wouldn't even have sex with me, and I need to know why. Was I not good enough? Could you not see yourself married to me and having a family together? I didn't respond and showed the messages to my wife. She knows of this girl and my reasoning for why she and I grew apart, mostly because we see her family everywhere and she asked. My wife told me to be honest with her, but I'm not sure if that's right. It feels mean. I'm going to give my point of view on our friendship, and I'm hoping I can get some advice on where to go from here. Basically, she and I met through friends in high school. I was very interested, but she was dating someone at the time. She ended up asking me out a month or so later, and we went on dates and kissed a few times, though we never had the conversation about being official, hence me calling her friend and not girlfriend. One night while riding in the car, her, who I thought was ex-boyfriend, called her and asked when she'd be over. She didn't have it on speaker, but I could still hear the conversation. She told him, I can't talk right now, and he asked who she was with. She didn't tell him. He later figured it out and messaged me on Facebook, asking if I knew they were still together. I apologized, said I didn't, and told him I'd cut things off. I called her, and she started crying, saying she didn't have the courage to tell me they were still together but that she liked me so much and was going to break up with him. I cut her off anyway. Fast forward a few more months, and she reached out. We went through the same motions, her wanting to be with me but always having another guy messaging her that I would catch out of the corner of my eye. This lasted, embarrassingly, years. Throughout college and our early 20s, it was always the same. She'd reach out, we'd reconnect, and things would begin getting serious again. I'd check her social media and see she had just broken up with someone. We even went on vacation to the mountains together for a weekend, and the same thing happened. She had literally just been there a month earlier with her ex. The trip with me was her idea. The worst part is, both our families really did love us together. My parents were never rude to my girlfriends but would ask me how my ex-friend was doing these days or make snide remarks about how her parents missed me. Hell, even my now father-in-law at one point mentioned that my ex-friend's dad brought up how he really thought I'd be his son one day. I confided in my friends years ago that I always felt like just a rebound or backup plan, and that's why I could never commit or get more physical with her. They told me to just sleep with her when she came calling and not pursue anything more. The problem was, I wanted more but felt used. Anyway, every time we planned something where sex was more than likely on the table, I'd see a guy message her or see a post on social media, and it just killed my enthusiasm. When I say that, I mean literally. It crushed my confidence every single time. One of my best friends told me I didn't have to pay attention to all that and could have just had my fun with her. It didn't mean I had to chase a relationship with her, knowing I was always a rebound. That felt crappy to me. I had other girlfriends here and there, but I wanted this girl. We just clicked, you know? But it's like some sort of goddamn mystical being was showing me a sign every single time things were going to progress in our relationship. I just didn't want her to be getting over someone else or having someone on the back burner when we'd reconnect. Maybe that's my own insecurity, but I know how I felt, and it didn't feel good. So, I slowly distanced myself. After a short amount of time passed, I met my wife. She met her husband, and our lives moved on with little to no contact until the other day. I haven't responded to the message, and it's been 2 days. I was thinking of just lying and saying it's not her fault or just not responding. But my wife is insisting I tell her the whole thing. I know this is a word wall, but I'm honestly conflicted. I told my wife I was going to ask others for their opinion, and I'm considering the internet as my others. Commenter. She is doing exactly the same thing she always did with you. I would bet all the cash in my wallet that if you were able to look into her life, her marriage is crumbling, or her husband isn't paying enough attention to her. You were the great white whale that got away, and she is trying to test the waters to see if you're willing to do the same old song and dance. Now, it's even more of a challenge since you have a happy family and marriage. Don't engage with her. This sounds exactly like the same cycle you described from your young adulthood. Update 4 days later. Thank you, everyone, for your responses. I decided to listen to the majority and responded to ex-friend Anna. The response was well received, and we chatted for the rest of the week and met up on the weekend before Easter. The short version is we're both leaving our partners. Anna and I are going to try this relationship again now that we've completely opened up to each other about our true feelings. Thank you all for the encouragement to do this. Couldn't have done it without you. April Fools. I would never. The real update is pretty anticlimactic, unfortunately. I ended up just never responding to Anna. It had already been 5 days by the time I read through every response and decided to just let it go. My wife was fine with that, but told me to block her if she messages again. We did a couple of Easter egg hunts with different family members yesterday, including at my father-in-law's. They have a decent-sized property and host quite a few people, so I wasn't surprised to see non-family members. I was, however, surprised when Anna's parents were there with her children. After all the adults scattered and hid the eggs and the kids started their search, Anna's dad came over to chat with me. Nothing out of the ordinary, we shot the breeze for a few minutes. Towards the end, I asked if the kids were staying with them for Easter, and he basically told me Anna and her husband were having some troubles and needed some time alone to sort things out. He didn't go into specifics, so I don't know exactly what those troubles are, but congratulations to those of you who called that one. For now, this should conclude the story. If she does happen to reach out again and I feel it's worth letting you all know, I will. Otherwise, thanks again.